The most corrupt president in the history of the United States also has the most corrupt administration, which is absolutely no surprise. So we have now learned, reported by the Wall Street Journal, that Donald Trump was told by Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche in May that he appeared in the Epstein files. So the headline is, Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein file. Attorney General Pam Bondi told the president at the meeting that the department also decided not to release more Epstein documents because of the presence of child pornography and the need to protect victims, which Pam Bondi saying she wants to protect victims after the sweetheart deal that Jeffrey Epstein got while she was the Attorney General of Florida is fucking laughable. And Todd Blanche, who has known all along what Trump's involvement is, going to interview Ghislaine Maxwell on behalf of the Justice Department is just absolutely ridiculous. We also learned from the Daily Beast, a lawyer who has represented over 200 victims of Jeffrey Epstein says the existence of the book given to the sex offender for his 50th birthday is an absolute fact. And I find all this interesting because, you know, there's a big push at the Justice Department to interview Ghislaine Maxwell and get her to tell us what she knows, particularly about Trump. Well, here's the deal. He's the only person that can pardon her. So she's going to minimize his involvement, and all the people he hates, she's going to go hard in the paint that they were bad, which they're all bad. I'm not defending Democrats that appear on this list, but the defense attorneys know, the victims know. They know what's in this file. They know what the evidence is. So the Department of Justice is in a real pickle. And just to remind everyone, Donald Trump said he'd been briefed, but he didn't, his name, he didn't know that his name was in the files. So let's go back to last week when Donald Trump was saying, oh, well, they briefed me briefly, but, I'm not in the files. They didn't tell me I was in the file. We have this. And there's a report. I was told about the Epstein Trump story published today, 6 days ago. Multiple outlets held it back in order to get Trump to publicly deny it first before dropping the bomb. I am also told that a third story is in the works related to the Trump Epstein, and it's likely a bombshell. And this is what I find interesting. Donald Trump, I think if you asked him and said, you're not in the Epstein files because you weren't a big enough player to be in the Epstein files, because that was like where the real players were, he'd probably admit it because his ego is unable to be satiated. So then let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. What does Jeffrey Epstein say about his relationship with Donald Trump?
Had a personal relationship with Donald Trump.
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment right, sir.
Okay, that's the ball game. That's the ball game. Jeffrey Epstein pleads the 5th in a sworn deposition about Donald Trump and him with young girls. That's the ball game. We see all this evidence, and we want to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. We want to look at the files. Of course, we all want to do that. But Jeffrey Epstein pled the 5th. And in a civil case, when you plead the 5th, it's assumed that you're guilty. So Donald Trump is sitting around throwing every distraction in the book. Obama, Hillary Clinton's on tranquilizers. Who gives a shit? We're talking about you. We're talking about your relationship with a pedophile. And you know it. And that is why you are so scared. And we have just now received a copy of the subpoena signed by James Comer to for a deposition to be taken of Ghislaine Maxwell August 11th at the correctional facility where she is currently held, and she is going to be deposed by the committee. Interesting that James Comer is the head of the Oversight Committee. He's the ranking member. He's the only one that can sign the subpoena, but he had to do it because Republicans united with Democrats to get this done. And I'm going to go on record again. I don't think Ghislaine Maxwell is going to throw Trump under the bus, even though she could. I think she would lie to protect him because he's the only person that can pardon her and get her out of a 20-year jail sentence. But who we should all be thanking is Robert Garcia. He is the ranking member on the House Oversight Committee, and he says, we just won a forced subpoena of the Epstein files 8-2 in our Oversight Dems subcommittee. This will force Chairman Comer to issue the subpoena. This is an enormous win for oversight Democrats. This is what's important to me because Ghislaine Maxwell, there's no way to verify what she's saying. Oh, Donald Trump wasn't in there. So then does Congress go and interview all these witnesses? Maria Farmer, who's come forward and said, yes, I reported Donald Trump to the FBI twice, and other people that were victims of Trump and Epstein in this charade of now Ghislaine Maxwell's going to tell us the truth. As you get older, you realize you should have protected your skin better when you were young, particularly from the sun. And that is why I love OneSkin products, particularly their whole line of mineral SPFs for the face, body, and lips. Not only do they protect your skin from UV damage now, they work at a cellular level to help repair the sun damage that I did to myself in my teens and my 20s. My skin feels smoother, looks more even, and I've even noticed some of those age spots and wrinkles beginning to fade. OS01 works at a cellular level to improve key aging biomarkers while reducing the visible signs of aging, including lines, wrinkles, and saggy skin. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. For a limited time, you can try OneSkin with 15% off using code IHIP at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code HADIT. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Robert Garcia is getting down to the nut cutting. He's saying, I want to see the files. And the subpoena is for unredacted records, no redactions. Now, that is incumbent upon these members of Congress to protect the victims, but there should be zero redactions in this response to the subpoena, because that is what the subpoena says. We'll see. Will the Justice Department comply? Will they continue in the corruption and the illegal cover-up of the Epstein matter for their dear leader? We're getting ready to find out, because this subpoena has now got to be issued by James Comer. And I'm sure after the Hunter laptop embarrassment for him, it's going to be like vinegar when he signs this subpoena, but he has no choice. He has to sign this subpoena. You know, we'll see when the records come, because Mike Johnson shut down Congress. But, you know, we're seeing all these distractions from Trump. And there's someone, Rick Wilson, I think he is an excellent commentator. He's been in the belly of the beast. And these are his thoughts on the distraction that Donald Trump and his administration are currently playing.
A brilliant man, but he has a certain degree of feral cunning about things that endanger him personally or legally or politically. He has a keen sense of those things. He senses that the Epstein matter is so devastating that if it fully comes to light, that it was so devastating that he sent 1,000 FBI agents to scrape through every single piece of information that the DOJ had to ensure his name, that they knew everything that was there. This is a guy who acts guilty, sounds guilty, looks guilty, smells guilty. And all these distractions he's trying to throw out there, the important part about this Russia investigation and this accusation about Barack Obama and Jim Comey and all these things is not anything to do with Russia. It's to do with Jeffrey Epstein. This is
It's all about Jeffrey Epstein. And here's the thing. I give Donald Trump zero credit. He's a criminal. He is a convicted felon. He is a convicted fraudster. He can't run a business because he's bankrupted it 6 times. He has an adjudicated sexual assault on his record. He has defamed the woman that he assaulted. There have been claims throughout his adult life that he sexually assaults women. He's Mr. Grab him by the pussy. So my bar for him is so low. It is so low what I think this man would do. But the fact that he is so scared of what's in the Epstein file, I believe I can't even imagine how bad it is. Because if it wasn't terrible, he would not be reacting the way that he is. He would, like Rick Wilson said, I believe Donald Trump, he is not a smart man. He is not an intellectual man, but he is self-preservation on steroids, and he is reptilian in his ability to stay alive when everybody counts him out. And this is his Achilles heel. He knows what's in there. Pam Bondi knows what's in there. Todd Blanche knows what's in there. But it must be so bad the way he is responding. And hopefully we will actually get to see that information. We will get to see the investigation. Hopefully Ghislaine Maxwell will testify truthfully, but I doubt it. I mean, seriously, no one has more reason to lie for Donald Trump right now than Ghislaine Maxwell. And Pam Bondi works for him. So that tells you all you need to know. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.